Welcome back to our channel. We hope you enjoyed last week's conversation. We are here today regarding a very, very interesting conversation, and it's an important conversation. It is regarding mental health and the stigma in the Black community. Is that correct, Mars? I don't want to mess it up.
What do you mean correct?
You know, I will mess up some stuff, so keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is a quick presentation of some data that we'll go over briefly, and we'll give our reasons of what we think why there's stigmas for mental health in the Black community. So this is from MAHnational.org. .org are government websites. So this is valid. This isn't Joe Schmo going up to 100 people at the strip mall getting and using that as data. So this is very important. There's 13.4 percent of the U.S. population is Black or African American. Of those, over 16% reported to have mental health illnesses in the past year. That is over 7 million people. That's more people than the population of Chicago, Houston, and Philadelphia combined.
Okay, that was my question. Combined. Okay.
All right. So, without really digging too deep into this data, that way we can make this real organic. Why do you think that there's a stigma for mental health, i.e., seeking out help, whether it be through just some type of therapy, counseling, those those circle meetings that they have where you talk about your issue, like what they call those
Support groups.
Support groups. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, support groups.
Those things are all deemed to be therapeutic in their own right. Why do you think that there is a stigma in the Black community for that?
From what I think, that it's because you don't want to be labeled as crazy, and then especially for women of color. I'll say women of color. People always want us to be strong, or you want to be labeled as strong or seen as strong. So seeking therapy would make you seem not strong.
Okay.
I mean, that's my two. I mean, and then also too, I feel like people, and maybe I'm a little bit off topic with this one. A lot of people are religious in our culture, and they feel like they can pray a lot of these things away.
Yeah, that's a very fair point.
Okay.
I might go all over the place, and if I do, please reel me in. We can both attest that we both have utilized therapy at numerous times in our life. I would say that it has been very helpful. One thing, but it took me a while to even be vulnerable as a Black man, because you know what, like, especially from our generation, like, men aren't taught, or men are taught from young kids to, be a man, don't cry.
Yeah.
Just these things that are deemed to be in extreme masculinity, and just because you cry, that don't make you less of a man.
No.
Just because you make yourself vulnerable don't make you less than a man. That those are the things that hell, it's a time and a place for those things, and there's a time and a place to be open. I will say this, and I don't have any facts to support this, but this is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just named 3 places. I named Chicago, Houston, and Philadelphia. In those inner cities, I don't think that those resources are readily available.
Oh, I agree with that.
I may be totally off base.
No, I do agree with that.
Because, we live, kind of in the burbs, right?
Right.
So
right.
like there's, we can drive 2 miles and we're going to pass by like 5 places for therapy.
Well, it's not even that, too. It's also because I feel more comfortable with a therapist who looks like me,
mm-hmm.
just like anybody else. My doctors are like that. My OBGYN is like, they look like me.
Mm-hmm.
So you have more people who are European descent
mm-hmm.
that are therapists. I mean, that is proven. That's a fact right there. And so I don't know if people of color are more open to discuss. It's different issues. And somebody might not understand a different issue that I go through who doesn't look like me. So I feel like that might be some of it too.
You mean as in access? So you mean like as an access to their?
It's not enough black or people of color therapists to go around. I feel like sometimes.
From our experience, yeah, I mean it can be it can be a bit of a task to find somebody who has similar experiences to you. And also too, and here's another thing that's tricky. There, like therapist isn't like a cookie cutter thing, right?
No, that's true.
Every therapist don't
mm-hmm.
fit you, and just because they're black,
yeah, absolutely,
don't mean that they would fit you.
Absolutely.
Either. So that makes it even dwindles the pool down even more, right? But it's this is, and I'm trying to find the worst because I don't want to come off as offensive, but it's a real stigma in the black community where like I wish I had some data in front of me, but I know that the suicide rate in the black community is fairly high. Now I can't compare it to other ones. Like I remember I told you earlier, to my surprise, the Alaskan Native American suicide rate is substantially higher than everybody else. Now the per capita thing kind of tweaks it a bit, but mental health issues lead to suicide. Mental health issues lead to alcohol. Mental health issues lead to drugs. And in our community, there's not a lot of outlets, or the outlets aren't readily available for us. While mental health is a hot topic, and you hear people talk about it, you don't hear them say, "Here are the resources that you can get."
Which I actually do have a resource for black women, and I will definitely drop it in the link.
Okay.
Because that's how I found my therapist. Heck yes. I go to therapy. I'm not ashamed. I have a lot of childhood trauma that I have to deal with, and I probably will be in therapy for the rest of my life. That's just the reality of it. And, therapists definitely make you look at the world. I feel like it makes me look at the world a little bit different. And it makes me understand why I do certain things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I will drop that in the link.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend.
Or drop a link.
I highly recommend, like, to individuals, just give it a try. Give it a try, and you might not like it. And if you don't like it, try to find somebody else, because, like, you will be surprised when somebody who is impartial listening to you, they can provide a perspective of things that you never would have thought about.
Absolutely.
And actually make you understand things that you just seem like you couldn't find the answers to. But anyway, but that's a soapbox moment. We won't keep it.
I wanted to also add that I did do research too.
Okay.
That Black people growing up in America, sometimes we suffer from chronic PTSD.
I forgot to mention that. You're right.
Yes, so some of the racial things that we go through, like one thing that I don't know if you've heard, but I know I've heard from my mom, it was, you need to work harder.
Yep.
You gotta work. You gotta do better.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be the best because of your color. Well, that wears on you. It's year after year after year after you got to do better. It just kind of wears on you. So I just wanted to throw that out too, and then also about if you do have a mental health issue, you are prescribed medication. That medication might not work for you, but let's try to figure out something else that works for you.
Give me your background.
Right. So I've been in the medical field for over 15 years. And so it's so important because you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. So you can pull up an MRI, CT scan, it's just a chemical imbalance. It looks different. Take your medicine. You cannot pray schizophrenia away. You can't. You cannot pray bipolar away. You cannot do it. I'm so sorry, but you can add religion in there and you can pray. Pray and take your medication too. Mm-hmm. Because it's so important. A lot of things can be avoided if you take your medicine. So I just wanted to throw that out there to everyone. Please, if the medicine doesn't work, get with the doctor or get with another doctor and let's figure out something that's going to work for you.
Let's talk about this PTSD real quick.
Yeah.
And we'll try to put a bow on it. That is a very valid point, and I'm glad you brought that to my attention. While I'm not trying to make this as a soapbox moment, but there is a lot of things that the African American community has to deal with when it comes to harassment by the police, and I can attest to that by my personal experiences. I have been harassed by the police. It's been profiling by the police. I've had, I come from Louisiana. There is some in your face racism. There's racial undertones. It's a lot of things that my wife Mars kind of is shocked how I just kind of cope with these things. And I think some of it, maybe, I don't know, maybe if I bottled it, I don't know, maybe if I just kind of compartmentalized it, I don't know. But those things as a black man, they make me very angry. But to your point about the PTSD, that is a very fair point when it comes to mental health and therapy as well, because my encounters when it comes to racism, I've vented those in therapy as well. I don't know if we really gained that much traction or got that much, because the guy I was with, he was a white guy, right? So I mean, he spoke from a sympathetic space, and he understood my struggle. But like it's one of those touchy situations where he couldn't really like, all he could do is just listen, you know what I mean? So, but
can he understand, or, and I guess that's what I want to say, can he understand? Because for you to understand, would you have to experience it or something like that, or you could just say, I sympathize. But that's just me thinking something. It's like, I sympathize with what you have going on because I don't understand it or what have you. And then why did you pick a white therapist instead of a black therapist? Was it because where we were living at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because certain therapists specialize. So therapists.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's not a cookie cutter thing. Some
That's
therapists
true.
they deal with this, they deal with that, and then and I preferred like previously I had I forgot her name.
It's female.
It was a female.
It was a female.
Therapist.
Yeah.
She was cool. And then end up getting the male therapist. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would slightly lean more towards the male solely because of common
Yeah.
common interest and just man, some things just men understand more than women. But I will say she, as a woman, she tapped into an emotional side of me that wasn't there.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That's the first time you've said that.
Well, I told you the story. I don't want to deviate, but the issue that I had with.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you saying that I wouldn't think of it like that, but yeah, I can see that.
But think about it, that's kind of sort of that makes Mars and Venus so different.
Yeah, very very true.
Women. When you first thing you think of a woman, you think of nurture. When you think of a man, you think of a protector. Those are just varying differences, right?
Right.
But anyway, before we put a bow on this, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean I recommend therapy. I even recommend. And what do you think about? Because I want to talk about that too. I don't want to go over too long, but about we went to therapy before we got married.
Yeah, you're talking about the couples
things. Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we did a couples therapy session before we got married, and I think it helps because you get to understand or get to ask, or sometimes you're so much in love or lust that you forget to ask some questions, and that therapy definitely have us do some deep diving into understanding each other and voicing our frustrations also. So I recommend that also. If you can.
Yeah. So even when it comes to mental health, I mean, it doesn't necessarily. It can be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a singular thing. It could be a couple of things. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So you recommend that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we even said and this is kind of deviating a little bit, but like even when you're looking to having companionship and looking to become one, it may even be in your best interest to be with each other for a little while, because it's one thing if you stay in the night.
Oh, okay. I was like, what you mean be with each other?
I mean, yeah, because like everybody has their little ticks, right? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
when it comes to how you live,
absolutely.
And then when you start living up underneath one another, you be like,
baby,
oh, I can't stand this MF, because they do stuff different from you. But that's another topic.
But it gave us some ways to cope with some type of like with things. So I think it
conflict resolution.
Absolutely, that's it.
Look at that, boy.
It sounds so business.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So yeah, again, we recommend therapy. And what else do you want to add before we do wrap up?
Nothing else to add. I mean, you pretty much cover everything. You triggered some thoughts there. This round 2 was a bit more organic and off the cuff. And we did that purposely because, this is one of these emotional topics where, I mean, like, we don't want to just throw out data, because that's not what this channel is going to be about. This channel, we want to try to have some entertaining topics like we did last week. Some emotional topics such as this one, and some that might be a little bit of both. So we hope you enjoyed this round 2. And we'll be sure to be giving you more content. We'll try
We're gonna try definitely weekly, but like, comment, and subscribe. I forgot to say that, but I'm saying it now. Again, you liking, comment, and subscribing helps us grow this channel. Please, please, please leave comments. I love reading them. And if you have any topics for us,
absolutely,
shoot us an email. The email, go ahead, because the email is confusing as hell to me.
Well,
So it's listed.
Okay, it could be the email or just put in the comments. But the email is M as in Mike, V as in Victor, S as in Sierra, V as in Victor, Y as in Yankee, T as in Tango, at gmail.com. So you want like, what are those letters? It is M as in Mars versus Venus YouTube. That's what it is. MVSVYT. Mars versus Venus YouTube.
Yeah. You can tell he's military with this Tango stuff. You can tell.
I think it's called NATO.
I don't know. I love
NATO
me a military
Alpha,
man.
blah, blah, blah.
You have to be a military man for me. All right, you guys. We will visit with you guys next week. Thank you.